Good evening. Being 7 p.m., I'll call to order the McHenry County Board regular meeting of April 21st, 2026. And Ms. Campbell will lead us in the pledge tonight.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And unfortunately, Pastor Gaynor was unable to join us tonight, so Mr. Sullivan's going to lead us in the invocation tonight.
Hi, folks. I'm just Pat. Father God, we come here and we are thankful. We have thankful hearts for you blessing us with this wonderful county to live in. We ask that you would take care of the people that are struggling now and in trouble, and those with broken hearts. Please heal them, and Lord, take care of your children as you always do. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Theriault, could you please call the roll?
Altoff. Campbell. Here. Collins. Here. Gottemuller. Here. Greeno. Here. Hendricks. Kaminsky. Present. Kearns. Here. Krieger. Here. Kunkel. Here. Sager. Here. Shorten. Here. Scala. Smith. Here. Sullivan. Here. Thomas. Here. Van Hoff. Present. Von Bergen. Here. You have 16, Chairman.
Okay, having a quorum, we'll proceed. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Mr. Shorten makes a motion, Mr. Smith seconds. And just before we get started or take a vote on that, unless there's objection, I'd like to move our presentation item 18 until after special recognition for Ms. Kurtz can get out of here early today. So with that, all in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of previous meetings. Mr. Gottemuller makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Kearns. Any discussion or changes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Motion carries. Good evening again. I have several items to report to the County Board before we move on to tonight's agenda. I'll start with a brief update on the flood conditions in McHenry County following last week's significant rainfall. The chain of lakes is closed to boating, and the forecast for the Fox River at Algonquin is hovering at moderate flood stage at 11.9 feet, just below the critical 12-foot threshold that triggers significant flood response actions in the village. Sandbag production and distribution is ongoing in Nunda Township and other flood-prone municipalities. Our emergency management agency is monitoring the situation closely and has been working tirelessly with our state and local partners. Thank you to our EMA and its corps of emergency volunteers and trained weather spotters who endured quite a few late and wet nights last week, as well as thank you to the Division of Transportation, the Sheriff's Office, and the volunteers who've come forward to help fill sandbags. The EMA just let us know yesterday that it has obtained even more sandbags from the Army Corps of Engineers. Thank you as well to the EMA for making that happen. On Wednesday, May 6th, Treasurer Donna Kurtz, County Clerk and Recorder Joe Theriault, and Chief Assessment Officer Alex Benitez will once again host a property tax workshop to educate the public on property taxes, how to read tax bills, learn about exemptions, and understand how assessments, levies, budgets, and elections affect them. The workshop will take place from 6 to 8 p.m. at the McHenry County College Looped Auditorium to accommodate the anticipated audience. The event is free, and attendees will receive a resource guide with important tax information. Attendees should register in advance to be assured of receiving a guide and a seat. People can register by calling the Treasurer's Office at 815-334-4260 or by emailing treasurer@mchenrycountyil.gov. And finally this evening, thank you to everyone who came out Saturday to the Camp Algonquin Foxglove Conservation Area to join me for my Hike with Mike event in partnership with the McHenry County Conservation District. Every month we take a hike through a different MCCD site to showcase their uniqueness and highlight how much our open spaces enrich McHenry County. The event is free. You can register online at the Conservation District website. And this year, we are going to be going to all sites that are not open to the public currently. So it's kind of an interesting view from the Conservation District from that aspect. And so you do need to register in advance because parking is generally pretty limited. And that concludes my report. Do any members have comments today? Mr. Kaminsky.
On behalf of my fellow board member, Pam Altoff, she asked me to make a few comments. The Fox Waterway Management in Fox Lake, even though the floods are there, the office is manning their phones and the web. So if you need information, please go to their website. They list the water levels at all stages from New Munster down to past the dam. Roads. If you want to go see what damage and what it looks like, please don't. There's enough folks that are living in the flood zone that are taking the pictures and have their drones that are putting it on the social media. Our roads, a lot of them are private roads where the homeowner has to pay for it. If you see water on top of that road, rest assured there's water underneath that road. Having the vehicles try back and forth starts crumbling those roads, so when the water does dissipate, we're left with a gravel pit. So if you don't have to go down them, please don't. And if you do live in the area, it's highly suggested you combine all your trips into one, so when you leave and you come back, that's it. It's been mentioned that the whole chain is closed, and there's a reason that they close it and don't want people on it. Even though it may look like it's a sheet of glass that you can get in your kayak or canoe and have a good time, the currents in there will take you and put you down to Elgin. They're ripping and fast. You may not notice it, but if you get into it, it will take you downriver. If you do have to get into the river for retrieving something or tying up your shore station or pier, please be aware that if you have any open wounds, don't do it. If you do get cut in any shape, form, wear protective, the right foot gear, because the bottom has the zebra shells and whatnot that'll slice you up like glass. If you do get cut, please, at the first available point, get to medical attention and let them know that you got that injury in the waterway, because there's 2 tetanus shots, one where you get cut by steel, 2 where you get hurt in the water. It's beneficial that you make them aware of it. If you have any concerns, please contact the Fox Waterway, and they're staying in contact with the IDNR constantly throughout the day. Other than that, I'm done.
Mr. Kunkel.
Yes, Algonquin Township also has sandbags and sandbagging equipment and assistance at the township. And the environmental defenders of McHenry County are bringing back the styrofoam recycling. It's the only thing like it in our county. They're bringing that back to Algonquin Township on May 9th, kind of a impromptu ribbon cutting for styrofoam recycling through the environmental defenders. Thank you.
Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. Last Tuesday, I attended the Illinois State Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Springfield. The morning started off with briefings and updates from our state leaders, including Senate President Don Harmon, House Minority Leader Tony McCombie, Senate Minority Leader John Curran, and State Treasurer Michael Frericks. Each took time to answer questions and engage our members over various issues, not the least of which was the importance of local control. The state capitol during legislative session can only be described as organized chaos. It was absolutely packed, with numerous groups advocating on behalf of their specific interests. And it is in this very hectic environment that our state leaders still find time to make themselves available. For that reason, I want to thank Representative Ness, Senator DeWitt, Senator Severson, and Representative Kiker for taking the time to meet with me. Each was gracious with the time they had available. Fortunately, time permitted for a more in-depth conversation with Representative Kiker, where we discussed reducing the tax burden through economic growth opportunities while protecting our energy grid and our natural resources. This type of collaboration is so important. The willingness to work with all of our partners, whether it's at the federal, state, or local level, as well as across party lines, is critical if we are to address the many issues facing our communities. Thank you.
Ms. Greeno?
Thank you. I also wanted to speak on behalf of District 5 and then the township regarding the flood areas and where the roads are closed, that people are taking their recreational vehicles into these closed areas and these conservation areas. And this creates basically the water movement going into the private homes and a wake. So people wouldn't necessarily think that you could create a wake with your UTV or your ATV or whatever you decide to drive in there. But it is also a violation, and if the conservation does find you in there, you will be arrested and fined severely. And so it is very critical, but also these are people who are trying to survive, and they've got their sump pumps and their sandbags and their aqua dams and everything else just trying to get through this time. And so it may seem like a little bit of fun, but it's not, and it's very damaging. So for everyone to be mindful of that and work with your friends and neighbors to get through. Thank you.
Mr. Shorten?
I'm going to emphasize again, thank you, Carl and Terry. Don't drive in the water, regardless of what it might do to the roads. I've done several trips with the Untitled Township Road District, passing out sandbags to people that are fighting this, and some of them have been through it several times. Likewise, we have residents that this is their first time, and many of them were behind the 8 ball. But one of my trips with the road district, Corey, who's in charge of the crew, one of the things he emphasized to those folks is they have to drive through the water. But when they drive through the water, they have to drive through very slow, because the wake hits the sandbags and can knock them over pretty quick. These are not stable pieces of engineered construction. And once they go down, they're down, it's over. So just stay out of the water. I'm gonna invite any member of the board that hasn't seen these in years past to come down to the township. Tomorrow, I'll be there all day, and I'm happy to either take you out directly and have, give you a first person view of what's going on. It's rough, but I'd encourage you to come down and take a look and see what's going on. Thank you.
Seeing no further member comments, we'll proceed to special recognition. First, we have a proclamation recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month in McHenry County, and Ms. Von Bergen will read the proclamation.
Thank you, Chairman. Proclamation recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month in McHenry County. Whereas mental health is an essential part of overall well-being, impacting individuals, families, and communities across McHenry County and nationally. And whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our county, our state, and our nation. And whereas early intervention and access to quality care are crucial for managing mental health conditions and improving quality of life. And whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas each business, school, government agency, health provider, organization, and citizen share the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention and treatment efforts. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by this County Board of McHenry County, Illinois, that it hereby authorizes that the McHenry County Mental Health Board, together with the County Board of McHenry County, Illinois, hereby proclaim the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month in McHenry County, Illinois, as it is in the state of Illinois and in our great nation. And be it further proclaimed that the county clerk is hereby authorized to distribute a certified copy of this proclamation to the county administrator and to the McHenry County Mental Health Board, and that it be spread upon the records of the McHenry County Board, dated at Woodstock, Illinois, this 21st day of April, AD 2026.
Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation honoring the McHenry County Department of Health for its 60th anniversary, and Mr. Shorten will read that proclamation.
Whereas the McHenry County Board established the Department of Health on April 12, 1966, and whereas the Department of Health grew over the decades to combat a variety of health challenges from the spread of tuberculosis and other contagious diseases to the dangers of improperly maintained wells and septic systems, to the care for the community's creatures, whether they walk, fly, swim, or slither, and whereas the Department of Health is made up of 5 divisions united by a single mission to protect and promote the health, safety, and well-being of those who live, learn, work, and play in McHenry County, including public health, nursing, which provides immunizations, lead screenings, breast and cervical cancer screenings, STI and TB testing, and treatment, communicable disease monitoring and control, health education and medical case management for youth in care, environmental health, which protects the quality of our food and water, monitors environmental dangers borne by mosquitoes and other pests, and works to address solid waste. Veterinary public health, which protects the community's animals, thwarts the spread of rabies, and adopts pets into forever homes. Community health, which provides access to healthy foods, nutrition, education, and breastfeeding support through the Supplemental Nutrition Program known as WIC, offers chronic disease prevention programming, and ensures that we are prepared for public health emergencies and health administration, which plans the direction of divisions, budgets, maintains records, disseminates information to the public, and houses the epidemiology program, which compiles, analyzes, and distributes health data. Now therefore it be proclaimed by this County Board of McHenry County, Illinois, that it hereby congratulates and thanks the McHenry County Department of Health for 60 years of service to the people of McHenry County, and be it further proclaimed that the county clerk is hereby authorized to distribute a certified copy of the proclamation to the McHenry County Department of Health Administrator, dated at Woodstock, Illinois, this 21st day of April, AD 2026.
And I do see we have our Health Department Administrator, Melissa Adamson, here tonight, so we can save the postage and give this to you tonight.
Can I get a photo, everyone? And let's move you guys down just a little bit down to the center. All right, there we go. All right. There we go, gotta see the front. All right, beautiful, thank you.
Next, we have a proclamation acknowledging May 3 through 9, 2026 as Public Service Recognition Week and honoring our public servants and connecting citizens with their government. Mr. Gottemoller will read that proclamation.
Thank you. Whereas Americans are served, oh, somebody else's mic's near me, or I'm really too close.
Try again.
Okay. Whereas Americans are served every single day by public servants at the federal, state, county, township, and city levels. And whereas those unsung heroes do the work that keeps our nation working. And whereas counties move progress forward by providing health care and human services, administering justice, keeping communities safe, creating economic opportunities, and much more. And whereas McHenry County and all counties take pride in their responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of its residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas the employees in McHenry County provide a broad array of services in areas including human services, elections and voter registration, emergency communications and response, property assessment, transportation, court and county administration, criminal justice, land use, economic and environmental planning, building and permitting, record keeping, and GIS assistance for the citizens of McHenry County. And whereas day in and day out, they provide the diverse services demanded by the American people of their government with efficiency and integrity. And whereas without these public servants at every level, continuity would be impossible in a democracy that regularly changes its leaders and elected officials. And whereas the McHenry County Board acknowledges the hard work, dedication, and leadership of all its employees exhibited on a daily basis across all departments and offices of McHenry County. Now therefore be it proclaimed that we, the McHenry County Board, do hereby acknowledge and proclaim to all residents of McHenry County, Illinois, that May 3rd through 9th, 2026 is Public Service Recognition Week, and all citizens are encouraged to recognize the accomplishments and contributions of government employees at all levels, federal, state, county, and city, and be it further proclaimed that the county clerk is hereby authorized to distribute a certified copy of this proclamation to the county administrator, the county board chairman, and the director of human resources, dated at Woodstock, Illinois, this 21st day of April, 2026.
Thank you. And finally, we have a proclamation recognizing April 2026 as Second Chance Month, and Ms. Campbell will read that proclamation.
Thank you. Proclamation recognizing April 2026 as Second Chance Month. Whereas McHenry County is committed to the quality of life, economic betterment, and forward-thinking governance of the county on behalf of all its citizens. And whereas nearly 1 in 3 American adults has a criminal record, often facing collateral consequences that create permanent barriers to housing, employment, education, and civic participation, even after their sentence is served. And whereas providing a second chance through community support and the removal of these barriers reduces recidivism, increases public safety, and strengthens the local economy. And whereas McHenry County demonstrates its commitment to second chances through various programs that divert individuals from the traditional justice system, including the State's Attorney's Office's Deferred Prosecution Program and Domestic Violence Deferred Prosecution Program, as well as the 22nd Judicial Circuit's Drug Court, DUI Court, and Mental Health Court programs. And whereas the Office of Probation and Court Services, the Law Library, the Self-Help Center, and the McHenry County Workforce Network all support individuals as they navigate the justice system and assist them with their transition back into the community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the McHenry County Board affirms its support for second chances, recognizing the dignity, value, and potential of every person and the importance of redemption and rehabilitation. Be it further proclaimed that the McHenry County Board hereby recognizes April 2026 as Second Chance Month and calls on all citizens, government agencies, and private institutions to recognize the importance of second chances and to support the policies and programs that empower justice-impacted individuals to rebuild their lives and strengthen our community. And be it further proclaimed that the county clerk is hereby authorized to distribute a certified copy of this proclamation to the county board and county administrator, dated at Woodstock, Illinois, this 21st day of April, AD 2026.
I see we have representatives from the state's attorney's office that could come up and accept this. If there's somebody from the courts or workforce network, Ms. Scary. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to take a presentation here with our treasurer, Donna Kurtz, for the 2026 tax collection for 2025 taxes and upcoming information. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. Great to see you all. I do want to thank everyone for their friendship over the last couple of weeks. What you are receiving right now is a resource guide put together by myself, our Office of Assessment, Alex Benitez, and our clerk recorder, Joe Tirio. This is a reference guide that is part of the packet that we give each of the people attending our property tax workshops. If, in fact, as a board member, you would like us to present and come to a public place, help you in that organization, and then conduct that presentation, we will be pleased to do it. Our goal is to bring the government to the people. And what do they care about more than anything else? Money. Their money. How we're spending their money. Why we're taking their money. And how we come up with the amount we take. Well, guess what? That's why I'm here today. I'm here to enlighten you because I believe every board member who is knowledgeable is that much more valuable to their constituents. So I hope I can share some good information, and I hope you'll have some good questions for me at the conclusion of my remarks, and of course, any questions during them. So, hey, this is what we live for, right? We live for McHenry County and the beauty and the fabulous activities and people that live here. And that's why we're here today in this room. Not just you guys, but everybody else. Let's not forget, though, this is the slide that always has to be shared. There's two sides of taxes. You can't run government without money, but you shouldn't take any more of it than you should. And to do more, to take more, criminal. But not to fund it and starve it, well, criminality does proliferate when there isn't a government in place. We know that. So there you go. So let's first talk about tax trends. And then we're going to talk briefly about understanding the tax bill. I think there's some important dates that you want to hear about that. Guess what? I know what they are, and you soon will also. And then finally, I want to talk to you about some cool new features we're bringing in. We don't just take money. We figure out more creative ways to get that money. And we're going to meet our taxpayers right where they want so we can effectively solve the problem of collecting taxes. So let's talk, though, about these property trends. What you're seeing is, a steady increase of tax revenues. You're not seeing quite as much of an increase from last year to this year. We're looking at about 40 million more from last year, approximately. And yet we are seeing a steady increase. And I'm going to give you some cumulative percentage increases in just a second. But that's what you see overall. So what are we talking about? 120 other taxing districts are contributing to this. Of course, we're one of them. However, you look at the property tax trends here in McHenry County, and they're significantly different. We see steady increases, and then we see a significant drop. Yes, of course, the 10 million from the Mental Health Board, but you still see even more of a drop than that. About you're still off about 2 million additional of a drop, a $12 million drop, though you took out the 10 million for the Mental Health Board. And then, of course, you see some increase coming back this year. But overall, what we see is that our schools are about 70% across the board. Now, you all know we have a pie chart on the tax bill now, but that tells you what your specific taxing district, unique to your address, is actually charging you. When we look at across the board, these are the percentages that we see in each of the types of categories of taxing districts. So county being about, 6.4% of all of that. Our parks being, a fraction of a fraction, et cetera. So it's helpful to know this from your standpoint because it helps you to understand what people are facing and what the elected officials in these various areas are up against. So what does it all mean, from a cumulative standpoint? Because I certainly, in your role as decision makers, having a macro view of what's going on over, in this case, 2019 to last year's tax collection, or actually 2025 taxes being factored in. We haven't collected them yet, but we know what they are. So what we see is 18% increase over that period of time from 2019 to 2025. We saw, however, a complete decrease of 2% from 2019 to 2025. That's crazy, isn't it? Everyone else is going up. And we saw all of those assessment notices in the newspaper last fall, everybody going up. But yet we figured out how to decrease in that time period. But the last thing I want to say is inflation is not our friend. And arguably, these other taxing bodies recognized there was some inflation concerns to deal with. And we certainly can't ignore that going forward. So I'd certainly like to leave that with you. Now, let's go on to you have a constituent who says, I am really confused by my tax bill. Well, guess who could be their best friend and expert advisor? It can be you. And I think you can do this. One, because you're extraordinarily intelligent people, but also because we have on our website a Understanding Your Tax Bill. And every year we're so lucky Greg Shane updates it because we do make changes to it every year. So you go to that website, our website, the Treasurer's website, go down to this, Your Tax Bill Explained, and you can look at every one of the fields in there. And you can understand what they are all about. You can also call me, you can also drop by. But the whole idea, as we all buy into, is the transparency element of a democracy. And the biggest part of it is people should understand what they're paying for and why. And that tax bill is right up there with the most important avenue for that understanding. So I really encourage you to have some good understanding there, and we provide you a beautiful guideline to either review yourself or share with others. With that, I want to tell you about some important tax dates. You're hearing it for the first time. Isn't this exciting? Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, and we're killing it to make sure we hit these dates. So first installment is going to be Tuesday, June 9th. And second installment will be Wednesday, September 9th. I want you to know that tax bills are going to drop sometime the week of May 4th. And we will let you know. We will let you be the first to know. How does that sound? And guess what? You can then be the first to tell all the people that want to know. So anyway, that's what's happening, and we're very excited about it. We're working very, very hard to achieve this, and we're making very good progress. So now we're getting down to the really fun things. This is what I live for. And that is new features, new technology that we're adding to the tax bill and to the way that people can pay. And this is so huge because if you're not meeting people where they want to be, especially when it comes to paying taxes, you are slowing down the process, you're causing additional frustration, and you're just like a dinosaur. You know, it's kind of repulsive to even think about not moving ahead, and that's what we're doing. So first thing, though, I want to point out to you is something that is actually technology, and that is, note the back taxes. Okay, that was a new feature a few years ago, and it's huge. It's huge. If you have a constituent that says, I don't know if I have any back taxes, hey, you want to, win the grand prize of, wow, that is a county board member that really knows what they're talking about? Go to the back tax box. If it says no, they're good. But if it says yes, here's the technology. It's in red now. It's in red bold. Yes. Bad. That's bad. Why are we telling people that? Because we don't want them to have penalties. We don't want them to have to pay interest. We don't want them to be mad. And God forbid, we don't want them to lose their property. So this is the most important box, and I'm telling you, you are a winner if you can give your constituents a heads up on that. And the red, not my idea, but boy, what a good one. Little secret in management, always listen to your employees. They do know more than you do. So next feature, and that is we have digital wallets. Digital wallets, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, and PayPal. So we are super excited about being able to provide this. People can pay at the window with this. People can use it, when they pay at home. But it's going to be great. Now, we still have the e-check. The e-check is free. It's free because I use the Treasurer's Automation Fund to pay for that fee. Why? Because that $1 of paying for that fee is equivalent to, we think, roughly $20 to $30 in savings. Because now we don't have to reconcile accounts as we would. We have a much easier time of getting that money and that payment processed. We don't have to use a person's time at the drive-through. So it's a great investment. It's simple. It didn't take a lot of brains to figure it out, but boy, let me tell you, it's great. And I want to tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. The other thing is that now we are going to have PayPal credit available. They have a very attractive situation with PayPal, and I'm not going to be, big salesman for them, but I do want to say I have encountered constituents. They're in tears. They come into the office, they're in tears, and we try and figure out how we can help them. Well, now we have another tool to the toolbox. And that is PayPal credit that they can do. It's not anything we have anything to do with, but we are able to offer it. And now people that have a Social Security check that may come in a day after the tax bill is due, and they just can't swing it. It's just not uncommon at all. They now can have a situation where there is private industry providing this means of having a partial payment. We don't want to do that as government. Partial payment is hellish and a disaster. But guess what? Private industry has an offering, and now we are bringing it to McHenry County. I also want to point out that we've kept the convenience fees at 2.4. One of our plans that I've been talking to the administration about is trying to build out more of this particular vendor. If so, we'll try and get that fee down. I'd love to see it more in that 2 or less convenience fee. So that's our goal. Then we go to the whole idea of now people can get a reminder. Everybody needs somebody to poke them in the gut sometimes, especially when it comes to paying tax bills, big ones like these. So you can sign up, and you don't have to pay online. You can get notifications, and you can get a notification under certain circumstances. If you sign up to be a VIP taxpayer, you can get either text or email as your notification. So that's pretty cool. I also want to mention that the mobile payment with this new vendor is very attractive as well. I didn't have that up there. But the last thing I want to mention that I think is so huge is serving our community where our community wants to be served. So we now have pay by phone via Spanish and English. So that's huge. We are very lucky to have an extremely talented person in our office who does speak Spanish, and she helps people all the time. That's what we do in McHenry County. We take care of our taxpayers, and we do it with patience and compassion. And you guys do it too. We all do it. But the point is, now we've got Spanish as an IVR, pay by phone. So that's a huge step forward too. With that, I want to just take a moment to say right now we're about 10% of our taxes are paid online. That's huge. We've upped our game significantly, but guess what? That's not good enough. Not at all. So what we want to do is we want to continue to improve efficiencies. Do you like that, Scott? Do you like that? Yeah? All right. Yeah. And it's really huge because online payment is completely scalable. And so you can have a lot more payments, you can have a lot more properties. We're seeing certainly a lot of building happening in our community. And guess what? We're not going to have to hire new people if we continue to offer attractive ways of paying online. And so I'm making that commitment that in the next 3 years, our goal is to double the number of taxpayers that pay online. And we are going to be working very hard to continue to educate. That's one of the reasons we're doing our property tax workshops. But we're also going to be doing a lot of significant marketing. And certainly I rely on my pal, Alicia Schuler, for that. These are the kind of things that make us a more attractive county to live in and to, as my dad used to say, get the money. That is what we got to do. So with that, I want to tell you that the marketing that is starting now, but it's going to continue. And this is the insert that everybody is going to be receiving in their tax bill. Now, on the other side is the assessment notification. I'll leave that to Alex, but I will say that Alex and his team have done a great job on their bulletin as well. But this is the insert that goes in so that we are promoting the things we do for our taxpayers. So with that, note the QR code as well. You know, we're really trying to be progressive in that arena as well. With that, I would love to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Kaminsky.
Ms. Kurtz, if you could roll back to your screen that you had all the credit cards on, I have a question. What's the difference between PayPal credit, Visa, and Master? Just another company the same as Visa and Master?
Yeah, not really. So a digital wallet allows you to, for example, with Apple Pay, you can use your phone like a credit card. When you have a point of sale unit, you can it has the ability to take the communications from your phone, and you can just make payments with your phone. And we have that point of sale set up, for example, so we'll be able to accept that. But and that's what the digital wallets do. You basically are walking around with security in place to be able to pretty much buy anything you want. And so it's pretty powerful stuff. Apple has their own bank for that. You know, PayPal, Google Pay, they all have their own banking system for that to support it. You apply for it just like you do a credit card, and then you have the app and you're off to the races to spend money and spend money and spend money. They also have reward systems as well. Now, the difference, but you ask a very good question in terms of PayPal. The PayPal, same thing, it is a digital wallet product, but what's different about it is the PayPal credit allows you to basically take out a loan. So you can take out a loan for, you know, let's say you have a $3,000 tax payment, your first installment. And for any number of reasons, you're just not going to be able to have enough money to pay that $3,000. Well, you can either use the PayPal credit if you already have it set up, or apply for it. And now you have, I think it's 3 to 6 months to pay that back. If you don't, I think there's interest involved. But don't take it from me. Anyone that's interested, go and make that application. But it's huge now, because people that might have trouble making a payment have a resource in which we will take payment through PayPal credit.
Mr. Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. So I got a question, or can you explain the equalizer? A lot of folks ask me how that works, and
Yes, I can say this. If you have an equalized number of 1, that means that you're good. And any other commentary on that, I will let the expert, and that would be Alex, talk about that. Because we know that he is looking for 1 as the magic number for the equalized factor. The point of it is that what you're trying to do is tax everything on an equal playing field. That is the point of the equalization. But honestly, I spend too much time on other stuff that I don't have the expertise that Alex could absolutely explain further. And I suspect Terrio over here is quite knowledgeable about equalization factors as well.
You're right on the money.
Yeah.
You
Thank
wish to be 1.
Yeah.
If it's different than 1, oh, good point. The microphone helps. So 1 means there doesn't really need to be an equalization, an adjustment to the equalization. More or less than 1 means that there needs to be an adjustment for some reason. And it is typically, I can't remember when it hasn't been 1, at least in the time that I've been around here, so.
Yeah, no, you got to get 1, or you're in trouble with the state. That's for sure. And they do mess up our lives when we're trying to get these data files put together, that's for sure.
So for the best answer to that question, if you go to the county's homepage, the very first, the homepage, and you scroll all the way down, there's a series of videos at the bottom of our homepage. One of those is the assessments presentation that Alex gave, and it explains all of that. So.
Yeah. Thank you very much, board member.
Seeing no further questions, thank you, Treasurer Kurtz.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
We're going to move on to zoning petitions. Do any members have items they'd like to remove from the zoning consent agenda? Mr. Smith?
Yeah, 10.8.5.
10A5?
10A5, correct.
Mr. Kearns?
10A1.
Seeing no others, I'll entertain a motion to approve the zoning consent agenda, less item 10A1 and 10A5. Mr. Gottemoller makes the motion, Mr. Collins seconds. Clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 10A1. Mr. Smith makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Gottemoller. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 10A5. Mr. Smith makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Gottemoller. Discussion, Mr. Smith?
Yeah, thank you. At the committee of the whole, there was a member that was questioning whether they wanted to support this petition or not. So I wanted to make sure we got it pulled so they could vote how they wanted to. I had looked at it at the time and noticed so that the Mr. Condon from McHenry Township had wrote a letter objecting because of the setback, not giving the room to plow the road. I reviewed it. So for me, anyway, the hearing officer approved this. The septic field is behind the building site, so to move it into a different spot is pretty tough for the owner. And on that street, I see that there's other garages that are right on the property lines, very similar or less setback even than what this one will have. So I'm going to be voting in favor of this petition myself. And so I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to public comment. Just remember, this is your opportunity to address the board. You'll have 3 minutes in which to do so, at which time the red light will come on in front of me. If you have not concluded your remarks, I would ask you to do so. We have 3 who checked to speak tonight. First would be Yvonne Daniels, followed by Justin Czar.
Good evening. If I'm to understand what just happened, then probably what I have to say is pretty moot. This is regarding the zoning petition for NP Solar Farm LLC. I did send a letter to board members Scala and Kearns today because I didn't know if I was going to be here. So I guess I'll just basically say what I said to them. The petition raised many concerns with me. Both the landowner and company owner and the contractor have less than stellar business history with bankruptcies and lawsuits. As part of the petition packet, the NRCS study was included, and they state in more than one spot, as we were not provided with a site plan, it is unclear if the floodplain areas or wetland areas will be impacted. I was curious as to why they weren't provided with a site plan and how could they go ahead and approve it. Also included in NRCS study indicates that 26 acres or 98.6% of the parcel has very limited soils for ground-based solar arrays. NRCS study also shows that 25.4 acres or 96.5% of the parcel has flooding and the same amount has frequent ponding. The McHenry County UDO specifically states the facility shall be situated as to minimize impacts to woodlands, savannas, wetlands, drainage tiles, and encroachment into floodplains. The site plan shows nearly the entire parcel covered in solar arrays. I attended the ZBA meeting for this petition, and petitioner indicates they wish to use above-ground cabling rather than underground because of the high water table. However, with the flooding and aggressive movement of the frequent flooding waters, this would not appear to be a good thing. And lastly, in case any of you had not heard about the recent horse rescue from the unincorporated Marengo area, this was only a few parcels down from this. If any of you want to look at it, there's plenty of YouTubes from many of the different news stations. I'm just saying that this floods enough and the waters move fast enough that it carried a horse away. So, thank you very much.
Justin Czar, followed by Steve Hindy.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Justin Czar. I am the elected road representative for the Algonquin Hills subdivision. If you don't remember me from the last meeting, that's okay because I will be here every month until we get a resolution to this problem. In 2024, McHenry County DOT commissioned an audit of the roads in the non-dedicated roads program. That audit made a definitive finding. Miles of roads, including mine, were deemed ineligible because McDOT found that they were already under the jurisdiction of either a township or a village. In 2025, they reinforced that finding with a second memo. Now, McDOT opened a massive can of worms with these findings, which the road commissioners have simply ignored. So I have to ask, what is the benefit of a county-funded audit if the results are simply optional? Since when does the local road commissioner get to tell the engineers of this county that their findings are wrong? You know, worse yet, the county is currently maintaining contradictory records. The iRoads database admits that the roads in question are under township jurisdiction, yet the maintenance code continues to be set to 0. McDOT has the ability to reconcile these records, but they refuse to pull the trigger. You know, McDOT picked a fight with the road districts, and then they conveniently disappeared when the going got tough. They left us, the residents, to fend for ourselves, knowing full well that they could step in anytime and help settle this matter. Also, in 2024, while this jurisdictional fire was just beginning to smolder, many of the people on this board voted to dissolve the non-dedicated road maintenance program entirely. Most of the people who voted to kill that program never even bothered to visit the roads or speak with the hundreds of residents that live in these areas who rely on those roads for emergency services, whose children use those roads to ride their bikes and get to their bus stops. How would you guys feel if your local board cut off the limited funding that helps maintain the streets that the police, fire, and emergency services use to access your homes? You simply saw a line item on a spreadsheet and you were pressured into casting a vote before you could even perform basic due diligence. Now, I want to remind you that while you may have dissolved the program that administered those funds, the state statute remains. Illinois law wants the counties to use MFT funds to assist their residents. Isn't looking out for your constituents the whole reason that you guys ran for office in the first place? So tonight I'm asking two things. First, that the board direct McDOT to stop being all bark and no bite. Reconcile the iRoads database with their 24 and 25 audit findings so the maps can finally reflect the reality of the law. We need a final binding statement of jurisdiction. Secondly, I ask that the Transportation Committee convene to discuss a plan to reinstate the NDR program. And this time, I urge you to consult with the road commissioners and the residents to understand your decision before casting a vote. Thank you.
Okay, next, under new and unfinished business, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 13A. They're signed up on the sheet. Those are the check to speak. Okay, come on up.
My name is Catherine Kefalinas. I'm a McHenry County resident and voter. I am speaking to voice my support for the ordinance presented to you to ban steer tailing and ask that the board and community planner accept and pass it. I want no permits issued for events and rodeos that involve the practice of steer tailing, where steer are purposely chased down on horseback, grabbed by their tails, and thrown to the ground. This causes excruciating, grievous injuries to the animals. The steer's tails are degloved, exposing flesh and bone. Limbs are broken, and often horses are injured as well. These are prey animals who are terrified and hide their pain when any human would be screaming out. I have seen the videos, and it makes me sick to my stomach. The perpetrators of this violence have also been documented to kick downed animals, and 5 men were recently charged with animal cruelty from an event held in Woodstock last year. The Illinois Humane Care for Animals Act should be enforced by not permitting such events until legislation closes the arbitrary loophole that no statute specifically mentions steer tailing. I do not want this kind of gratuitous violence against any animal in my community. Recently in Will County, dumped dead dogs were found with signs of being used in dogfighting. Officials and the state's attorney are rightfully alarmed and disgusted, noting the link between violence and cruelty to animals and towards humans. Dogfighting or steer tailing, cruelty to animals is barbaric and should not be sanctioned or permitted as entertainment. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Did anyone else wish to speak?
Good evening, McHenry County Board and officials. Some McHenry County residents and myself drafted a humane ordinance, and we are submitting it to you all tonight. Many thanks to Ms. Gloria Van Hoff for helping to distribute our one-page fact sheet to you. As you all know, 5 men were arrested with animal cruelty stemming from a steer tailing event that took place in Woodstock on August 16, 2025. One of those men was arrested for kicking a downed steer in the face and head more than 10 times. The other 4 men were charged with degloving. Degloving is a severe trauma where an extensive portion of skin and subcutaneous tissue is torn away from the underlying muscle or bone. In addition, at that August 16th event, animals suffered a cracked horn, a broken or dislocated shoulder, and possibly a broken foot. Unfortunately, another steer tailing event went forward on September 28th last year. On that day, at least 4 steers were degloved again. During an interview with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, Christopher Perez, a steer tailing permit holder, he was charged with animal cruelty in 2024. He stated, if an animal's tail is injured in such a way, broken or degloved, it goes to the butcher. At every single steer tailing contest that Showing Animals Respect and Kindness has documented, we have witnessed steers becoming degloved. This alone should be enough to support and pass this humane measure that mimics Senate Bill 45. But in the last couple of years in McHenry County, Shark has documented men harm animals in a multitude of ways, including electrocuting steers in their faces, their genitals, and all over their bodies with 10,000 volts of electricity, fractured steers' limbs, whipped and hit horses in their faces and heads, jabbed steers in the face with sharpened sticks, kicked steers in their faces and heads, steers beaten and poked with a piece of wood, cut horses open with sharp spurs until bloody, twisted their tails, and left animals with exposed bloody bones. Please don't let this continue. Please accept and pass this humane measure as soon as possible. And thank you again for your time and consideration. And please remember, Shark is only here to work with you to end this criminal animal abuse in your community. Thank you.
Ma'am?
I'm Dolores Mallory. I live on Anthony Road in Maruga, Illinois, and I'm here to talk about the proposed solar farm in Riley Township. My husband and I are the owners across the street. We also own the farmland to the east of the solar farm. Our concerns are damage to our existing clays from them pounding the pylons deep into their land to support the panels. We're also concerned about the glare that we're told comes off of those panels. It will also block access from the western part of our farmland. The farmer's not going to be able to get in there to farm that land. The area just experienced severe flooding like many other areas in our county. It is a common thing out there. The Coon Creek goes out of its banks. The property does have a very, very slope to it. We're concerned about any runoff that might potentially go into the Coon Creek and then, of course, affect all of our waterways all the way down to the Mississippi, I guess. One of the things that they said was that you know, it would be okay to put the farm or the solar farm in the floodplain, and that's their opinion. But I'm not sure that they've actually done due diligence on the runoff to the creek and other areas. So we're just asking that our county board preserves our county farmland, keeps our water supply safe, protects our wildlife habitats, negates fear of flooding by all the surrounding areas, and just not for the sake of taking the money from the landowner and the business, but voting for your constituents.
Was there anyone else? If there's others who want to speak, if you could line up over here, that'd be great. Otherwise, this will be our last one.
Good evening. My name is Steve Hindy. I'm the president of Showing Animals Respect and Kindness, and I'm also one of the drone pilots who has looked at untold thousands of steer tailing runs. I want to start tonight by thanking this board, and especially the state's attorney's office and the sheriff's department, for being a leader in trying to mitigate the cruelty that's occurring at steer tailing. Ordinance have been passed to require a veterinarian to stop the shocking of animals. And I hope that this board will carefully consider the attempts to stop the pulling of bovine tails, because it serves no positive purpose. So many animals are injured and killed. But tonight, you know, that's going to take some time. Tonight, I'm hoping that the state's attorney's office and the sheriff's office and this board will support one small thing that is already covered by the Illinois Humane Care for Animals Act. The law says, among many other things, you can't be cruel, you can't beat them, you can't torment them, and all so on. And it says you cannot overwork them. Now, in an American rodeo, whether it be the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, the High School Rodeo Association, College Rodeo, there's a whole bunch of associations, and they all have one common rule, and that's one run per animal, whether it's a horse, bull, steer, calf, one run. In these unsanctioned, unlicensed events, steers are being run 8 times, 12 times, 15 times. An individual steer, we've seen them run as many as 24 times in a single day, with the intent of bringing them crashing to the ground, 600-700 pounds crashing to the ground on every run, if they can make that happen. These steers, by the end of it, they're lamed, they've got broken horns, they've often been degloved, and degloving is a death sentence, as Jody just mentioned. Broken leg is a death sentence. Even laming may be a death sentence. If we would just make them live up to the standards of all other rodeo associations, one run. The last steer tailing that I was drone piloting, they brought in 36 steers and 11 of them were degloved. That means almost a third were going to die. That didn't even count the ones that were lamed or had broken legs or broken horns. So I'm just hoping that in this county, where you have led the way, that the sheriff's office, the state's attorney might just consider just enforcing this one part of the law that has been a law for decades, not to overwork, not to exhaust these animals, because then they break legs, their tails get ripped off.
Conclude your comments, please.
Thank you. The longer they run, just like, if you're crashing to the ground, once is enough, right? I mean, imagine 10, 12, 15 times. Thank you so much.
Under new and unfinished business, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 13A. Mr. Gadameller makes the motion, Mr. Smith seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Next, on our appointments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the appointment to the Lake in the Hills Sanitary District for a term to expire 4/30/2029. Mr. Gadameller makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Do any standing committee chairs or liaisons have reports for us tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to the routine consent agenda. Do any members have items they'd like to remove from the routine consent agenda? Mr. Kearns?
16B2B, just so I can register my vote.
16B2.
B, 22, or 22? B22. 22.
B22.
And 16B64.
16B222 and 16B64. Okay, anyone else? Seeing no others, I'll entertain a motion to approve the routine consent agenda unless items 16B222 and 16B64.
Are we pulling B2B.2, I'm sorry, 16.B.2.22 or 16.B.2.2?
Mr. Kearns, is it 16B.2.2 or is it 16B.2.22? Okay. Okay, so I will ask for a motion to approve the routine consent agenda, less item 16B.2.2 and 16B.6.4. Mr. Gottemaler makes the motion. Mr. Collins seconds. Clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 16B.2.2. Ms. Von Bergen makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Sager. Discussion, Mr. Kearns?
Okay, I brought up my reasoning on Thursday, so I won't go into any further detail other than I just want to emphasize, I support the food pantry portion of this. The other ones.
Could you pull your mic down?
I support the food pantry designation portion of this. I do not support the other ones that were already given appropriations, and I just think we are wrong to do this at this time. So I just want to register a no vote on this.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 16B.6.4. Mr. Gottemaler makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Kaminsky. Discussion, Mr. Kearns?
All right, 16B.6.4 is the intergovernmental agreement between the county and the village of Spring Grove for the construction and maintenance. Before all of us tonight, there is a redlined amendment to that, recognizing the increase, higher bid than what was through committees. And in the sake of transparency, we wanted to present the red line, and I would like to amend that to read as the red lined copy instead of the original one that went through committees.
So you're making a motion to amend to the red line version. Is there a second to that motion? Mr. Smith seconds. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, against? Motion carries. Back to the original motion then, if there's no further discussion. Mr. Shorten?
I just wanted to get clarification as to what the drivers were between the bid being above the engineering estimation.
Sure, thank you. We're not exactly sure. Every contractor works to apply their risk and their profits and their efforts differently through projects. Even in this bids, all three bidding contractors had different unit prices at different scales. This particular low bid, their storm sewer items, as well as their retaining wall and retaining wall foundation prices, seem to stand out significantly compared to what we had for the engineer's estimate. Why that is, it could be where they felt staging or other things, but we never really know for sure what the logic is that contractors put their prices towards their specific items.
But overall, this is the lowest bid from taking everything into consideration that is involved.
Yes, the next lowest bid was almost $200,000 more than this bid. The third bidder was over $4 million.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Next, we have one ordinance up for action tonight. I'll entertain a motion to approve item 17B1. So ordinance creating a film, video, and photo production permit policy. Mr. Kaminsky makes the motion. Mr. Shorten seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish? Motion carries. Mr. Hartman, you have a report for us tonight?
Yes, sir, I do. I have a few items to mention. First off, I'm really excited about this. At the bottom of each resolution, there is a clause talking about the distribution of a certified copy of this resolution shall be to so-and-so, and there's a long list of people. Conferring with the county clerk, we asked the question, why does it have to be a certified copy, which in essence is a paper copy, to all these people on the distribution list? Why can't it be an electronic copy? And the clerk said, well, just simply change that language, and it'll be an electronic copy, which now will be more efficient. We can save paper, and we save about a day or so of staff time to process that distribution list. So really excited about that efficiency measure. Thank you, Clerk Recorder Terrio, for his support on that. And starting next month, there'll be electronic distribution only to that list. If somebody needs a paper copy, the clerk's office can certainly provide a certified paper copy if it's needed. Secondly, the strategic plan report card has been updated for this meeting, so please be sure to check the website and look at the great accomplishments that have been achieved over the past month. This is a lot of your good work that culminated into the strategic plan advancement. I want to thank Alex for putting that together, but I also want to touch a little bit more on Alex. I want to congratulate Alex Wall, our intern from Northern Illinois University, on a professional milestone. The film ordinance that you just passed, that was his doing. So he brought that from start to finish, brought that home, and congratulations, Alex. That's a big step. We talked a little bit about the flooding. That is certainly a concern. And as Chairman mentioned in his remarks, I just want to reiterate and second the thanks to our EMA staff and to our volunteers for their vigilant effort for monitoring the Fox River flooding and the work and support of our local partners. There is a bit of an update that Dave Christensen, the director of EMA, provided. He said that the Fox River at the Algonquin tailwater is expected now to crest at 12.2 feet on Friday, so that's higher than we were hoping, but unfortunately it's above that major flood mark, but we are monitoring, and we have sandbags available. Now the township, certainly Algonquin Township, has sandbags available, so please, those efforts need to continue to protect property. And I do want to report our partners from Kane, Will, and DuPage County came out to sit in our EOC and assist our EMA with calling municipalities, calling townships to get the current status of the county. So I want to thank them for their efforts, bringing their team out to help our team. And this is what we do. This is our collaboration. When something goes bad, we help each other. And I want to thank those counties for stepping up and helping us in our time of need, as we do in theirs. And finally, with regards to flooding, I just want to turn it over to Assistant County Engineer Darrell to provide a brief update on the River Road closure. Darrell, if you could.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. This afternoon, McHenry County DOT had to close River Road. This is a segment near the McHenry Dam. We closed it this afternoon to all traffic. We saw water roughly 6 inches plus crossing the roadway at the time, created a roadway hazard for motoring public, so we shut that down. We do have message boards out in several strategic locations, helping to direct traffic away from this particular location. As Scott was saying, it's going to crest, the river will crest roughly Friday-ish, as depending on how the weather works. So we plan to keep it closed until such time that the water is more off the pavement and we can open traffic back up. But until then, River Road down near the McHenry Dam is closed.
That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. We do have need for executive session tonight, so I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session for pending litigation for 5 ILCS 120/2C11. Ms. Greeno makes the motion, seconded by Ms. Campbell. All in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Okay. Any non-board member?
Off. Campbell. Collins. Gadamuller. Greeno. Hendricks. Kaminsky. Kearns. Krieger. Kunkel. Sager. Shorten. Scala's not here. Smith's not here. Sullivan. Thomas. Van Hoff. Van Bergen.
Okay, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Gadamuller makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Collins. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Have a good night.